I'll tell you all about it. That was real good. That was like, that was money, first of all.
Let's do another one.
Okay, hopefully we're live. How's everyone doing? I am Chris, is the Real Review 3000, and my hair is absolutely a mess. I cannot wait till something opens up where I can cut this off because I cannot find my trimmer. I think I've needed to comment about that quite a bit lately. Yeah, so it is what it is. But this is the weekly wrap up, and this is where we talk about what we did this week on the Real Review 3000. And we had kind of a slow week in a sense. Work, family, other things came into play a lot actually this week, and not just for me, but from a few other people that I do streams and stuff with. So basically Saturday or Sunday, we did our the rule of three. We did have Shaun Stackhouse and Danny Graham of Comic Chat on there. We also did, I think we did the chaotic conversation this week, where we were talking about our top duos. So from like comic book movies, action movies, all that stuff. We did that on Danny Graham's channel on Monday. Now, on Tuesday, we actually ended up canceling the chaos list because Danny Graham had some family stuff come up. We also canceled the weekly Rumble on Thursday because family stuff came up for me and my work came into play too. But we did, I think, all our regular videos except for on Thursday. We did not get a video up because of the same thing, work and family. And I do apologize for that because I've been trying to make sure that I stay on the typical 5 week at least. And this week we were unable to do that. So I do apologize for that. Now, looking at, we started off the week with The Warning, and we did a review on Survive. Now, Survive is a pretty damn good song. If you haven't heard it, if you haven't heard of the band The Warning, I would really say that you guys need to check them out. Tuesday, we did, actually that might have been Monday. I might have done that Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. But we also did Love Bites, a video on that. Their song is Rising that I reviewed. And Love Bites is more of a heavy metal, almost symphonic metal. They have a lot of elements of Nightwish and in them, which are a couple bands that I do review. And we also did this week Nightwish, Wish I Had an Angel review, and Adam Lambert's Bohemian Rhapsody audition for American Idol. Talked a little bit about American Idol and all that stuff. Yeah, so, you know, that's what we did this week. And like I said, it was a pretty short week comparatively. And yeah, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and throw out a link and see who we get in here. If anybody comes in, we'll see. If not, you know, we might just sit here and talk a little bit longer about some stuff. But I like doing this, throwing that link out there and seeing if anybody wants to come in. And I will be putting it in the chat here in a second too, as soon as I get done putting it up here in several of the chat areas, the chat groups that I'm in. Yep. So give me just a second, guys, and we'll do this. As I also seem to have people asking me questions in these groups. Always fun. Let's see here. Does anybody? What's up, Danny? How you doing? And I think we'll be going. Let's see here. I gotta look and see. I love how I do this. I gotta put it out there. Answer a couple questions in the chats that I put it out there in. And let's get back here. Okay, so yeah, Danny, what's going on? Just telling everybody where, what, all that stuff happened this week on my channel. If you want to jump in, there you go. There's the link. Tommy, if you want to jump in, whoever. I mean, I really don't care. Work, so I'm just kind of trying to pass the time for a few more hours while I'm here. Not going for a few hours. I rarely have the chance to do like the marathon streams that some people do. Although I've been a part of several 3 or 4 hour ones, so. But not all the time. How you guys been? Tommy, Danny? Hope everything's going okay with you, Danny. I was explaining that we did the rule of 3 this week, and we also did the chaotic conversation, but we canceled the chaos list because, as I told them, Danny, you had some family stuff come up, and I was going to mention the fact that I'm doing well, Tommy. I'm doing pretty darn good. I'm not sure what this next week's going to be like. We'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend and next week with the Chaos Central stuff. But it really just depends. I know that Shaun has had an issue now with his. Hey, Danny, what's going on?
What up, bro?
Oh, not too much. I'm just sitting here, and I just now noticed I have to change.
Barbecue Pit Master.
What was that? What'd you say?
I said I'm sitting here watching Barbecue Pit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm using a very, very crappy signal, so that's kind of how it goes sometimes. What's going on, Scott? Scott in the chat. I'm letting people in if you want to jump in for a minute, Scott. Just kind of chit-chatting.
It's lagging a little bit. I can barely hear you.
Oh, well, I can pull it forward closer to me. You were up for 24 hours yesterday. Tommy says he was up for 24 hours. Oh. I don't know my side of things. Tommy, can you hear all right? Driving. Just click on it. Just talk like it's a normal phone call. I've done it before. Actually, I got a hands-free thing I can snap it in on, and I do that every once in a while. I'm kidding. I don't expect you to do that. I don't want anybody to take a risk or anything. But we just had Danny here. I don't count how long I'm up for anymore. I used to back, my kid every once in a while, my youngest will come up and be like, I've been up for like 24 hours. I look at him and says, well, when you're up for 72 hours, come and talk to me. Yeah, Tommy, I think to raise some hell. I think you need to find. I'll tell you what. I used to have Time Warner, right? And I had so many billing problems with them, and I won't name the new company they've become because God knows I haven't dealt with them, but I'm assuming they're basically the same thing and basically act the same way. But I had Time Warner. I was just kidding there, Scott.
Oh, hold on one second. I somehow took it off my earpiece.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good.
Let me try that one more time. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's going through my car and not my earpiece. So hold on.
That's fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm gonna jump out and jump back in. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Just right back.
All right. But Tommy, I had Time Warner, and oh damn. So there we go.
Yeah. Could you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
I could hear you. It's weird though. I usually have to use my my earbud, but
Interesting. I was just telling Tommy though, I had Time Warner one time and they gave me crappy service, messed my bill up a ton of times. And what I eventually did was I found out where their local service like call center was in Kansas City. I found out we had one.
right.
And what was funny is I basically started calling, and when I get connected to somebody close, I got to know this guy's name, and his name was Dan. So every time I get connected to Dan, who was like the guy that they escalated it to, and I said, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to your manager or whatever.
Right.
It was so funny. He'd answer the phone, and I knew his voice. I'd be like, Dan, it's your friend, Chris. And so I one time
Great.
I did directly threaten them. I said, listen, either you get somebody over here in the next day to fix this, or I'm going to come down to where you are at, and I'm going to talk with you directly until it's fixed. And the guy was, and Dan was like, well, you don't know where I'm at. And I says, I know the exact address, and I have rattled it off. And he's like, we'll get somebody out there tomorrow. And damn it.
That's one way to handle it, man.
Well, they kept messing around with me. I mean, it went on until Google Fiber actually took over, and Time Warner acquired by, well, I think it was acquired by Comcast, but our local area, it got taken over by a company called Spectrum. And I don't know if that, I mean, we've got Comcast, we've got, I don't know, we got a lot of different things.
They're all the same, dude. There's like 3 actual cable companies in the United States. They have different names. It's a monopoly and a half.
Yeah, they just sell packages to like I have Google Fiber. I have their TV package, but I know it gets sold to them by somebody else, and they just collect these. And it's almost a pyramid scheme the way it works.
Oh no, dude, it's worse than that. It is a monopoly. There's a show that, you know, I might not like agree with the guy on certain things, but I really enjoy his show, and it's Adam Ruins Everything, and he does one on cable companies. He does one on cable companies, and he breaks it down, dude. It's actually really interesting to see how our media and our audio, our voice, our phones, all that shit is just. They just hold us for ransom.
Yeah.
They could charge whatever they want. You know, they literally slow your internet service down, like at your house. Like they could easily pump it up more. And if you call and complain, sometimes they will actually give you what you're paying for. So I've been thinking about doing that myself. I'm waiting for a new router from the company because it's ridiculous. I have a router with 5G and a regular connection, and I could be sitting 3 feet from it and I lose connection. You know,
I've had issues, but Google does a pretty good job of fixing the problem whenever it comes up. Comic Chat says, "What's up, Sporkin?"
What's up, man? Where is he?
He's in the chat now. I don't know if he had problems with his internet, Tommy says, I contacted corporate headquarters, and for the past month, it's been under investigation until it sorted out. I'm refusing to pay my bill. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, that's what I did. And actually, they ended up having to pay off like 7 or 8 months of my bill before I left them. And basically, I went in and talked to a manager, like an upper manager at a center, you know, like an actual where you could walk in and talk to people. And I said to her, I said, you know, it's ridiculous that I've had to fight for the past year to get things done. And I said, you guys still aren't doing it. And she apologized. She apologized, took care of the bill. And then I said, and you can also let them know that I've already signed up with Google Fiber and I'm canceling my service. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but she did it anyways. And she did it with a smile. She was a great lady. And, you know, but
yeah, man, I have to walk into a store. I'm going to try one more time dropping out so that my earbud picks this up because I don't want it blaring in the store. So give me one more chance. If it doesn't work, I'll call you when I get back on the road. So
you're good. Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, AT&T, and they had AT&T had DirecTV, and then they also around here they had some sort of AT&T cable thing here. CenturyLink, I haven't heard of it like around here, but I have heard, and you know, I hear all sorts of, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of a good cable company story. I mean, I have Google Fiber. They're pretty responsive. The TV people, I mean, they really can't do much. Let's see here. What's going on? Is it working better? He's silent.
See you or hear you. I'm going to go into the store. I will. Oh, well, I saw you for a split second. There you are. Yeah, it's still not working. So
okay. When you're ready, you come back in and I'll be here.
Me too. I'll try to call back in a little bit. All right, brother. I'll talk to her.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you. Well, okay. So, cable companies suck. Were they? Verizon was? And like, whereabouts are you at, Tommy? Like, what area of the country? I'm smack dab in the middle, so we've got all sorts of different ones here. I mean, I know we got AT&T, we got DirecTV, we got Dish, Southwest Florida. Gulf side, right? Yeah, Gulf side. Got a cousin down there. I think it's Marathon, Florida. I don't know. Fort Myers, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got family down down in Florida. I got friends down in West Palm Beach, Miami, some up more near New Brunswick, Georgia area. But I mean, in Florida, but up that direction. So a lot of different people. I know Danny's in there. I know Tommy's in there. I'm not sure who else is out there in the chat land, but I'll put this out one more time if anybody wants to jump in. Basically, I've been doing these live streams for the weekly wrap up. Just basically, I think the live format of this. And lately, I've been asking people to come on. A couple times, I just had them come on, and I invited them on. Last week, I opened it up to several of the group chats I'm in. This week, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to throw it up in the chat. And if anybody wants to jump in, they're more than welcome to. So that's where we're at. We're just getting kind of funny and tweaking with an idea. Let's see here. I'll get this. Excuse me while I get some stuff put together here. Yeah, I'm at work as usual on Friday right now. Hopefully, we'll get some more people in here, and I'll have more time to actually concentrate on videos and the live streams that I normally do, like the Gospel According to Chris, which I weeks. I got to talk to Open Minded Movie Man about that. Scotty, I got to talk to him about coming on. I have to. Mark with a C. He's one of the people I've had to postpone. Stephen Walton, Phantom Menace author. I have him that I have to get through. Gotta catch up with a lot of different things. So work has definitely been taking a bite out of time. And my kids, stuff with them, but this is all kind of with everything going on. I mean, it's not my kids' fault. I'm a dad. I'm an only dad, so I kind of signed up for that when I got my kids full time. That was just the way things went. So I'm not complaining, but especially like last night, everything had to basically take a backseat because of family and work both last night. Well, so, but as I'm looking over stuff here, I see that one of my videos is still being blocked in Japan. Nice. It really sucks for some people over there who want me to do this. And anybody who deals with being a content creator understands exactly how this is. So is it getting hot down there, Tommy? Like humid? We're getting kind of humid here the past few days. Looks like we got a storm coming in too. I'm not sure. That's always fun. As I look through all of this here to see who might be coming in. Looks like JJ or Sith Lord might be coming on here in a little bit. Try to see, not sure. It's linking a couple other places here. That one repealed, had to appeal again. So yeah, I might. I don't know. I got this one that's just blocked in Japan, and what's funny is it's a Japanese group that I was asked to do that. Hey, Jens, how you doing? We're the whole automated thing that's going on right now with YouTube is kind of ridiculous. It's flagging stuff left and right. This one, I did get an answer back because that side of the world, Japan, China, and all that seems to be opening back up. So a lot of them are getting fixed or not fixed fairly quickly. They looked at it and got back to me here in just a couple days. Like I said, the biggest problem is when you see this, I don't know why they're blocking it in just Japan, but it's not monetized because they won't let it. So that's kind of crappy of them, but I could push a little bit longer. Yeah, kind of like Skynet, but I don't know. Skynet's was a little quicker and a little more responsive than that. I haven't seen the chemtrails from rockets going across the sky yet, so I guess that's a good thing. Not too much. I'm just BSing basically at work. Got I do this live stream on Fridays normally at 4 o'clock, and until my Fridays open up me back home, I have to do it from work. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and with varying degrees of success based on the internet signal I have here. I'm having to do it off of Wi-Fi. I can't plug into the network because, well, that's not allowed. So I have to basically go off of maybe C-grade Wi-Fi. I think the bit rate that it has on the download is like 10 megabits, and I think it's like 8 megabits upload speed. It's horrible. So how I even get this done, I don't know. Luck, a wing, a prayer, all good things to do when you're relying on stuff to live stream, But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, Tommy, a lot of YouTube is flagging. They're dropping live streams. They're doing a lot of that stuff. 5 times faster. Ooh, yikes. What's going on, Memes? How you doing? Hey, Memes, if you got nothing you're doing that you want to jump in, I'm throwing the link out in in group chats. I'm throwing it out in my chat. But this is a free for all today. Anybody who wants to come in, jump in for 5 seconds. I could care less. I could care more. I guess isn't that what? I guess I could care less means yeah. Well, I could care less. That's kind of how it goes. I could care more, care less. But I'll really be happy, like I said earlier, whenever I get my hair cut finally. And we're all opening with varying differences from county to county and city to city. Everything starts opening up here on the 4th, I think, May 4th. Yes, May the 4th be with you. So that's coming up. Yeah. Yeah, May 4th. Be careful for what I wish for. Oh, I don't know, Yeah, oh yeah, we have tons of restrictions. And in fact, the problem we have is originally everybody was kind of following the same line of this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And all the little cities around Kansas City. Come on in, gents. I threw the link out there. I'm perfectly fine with anybody coming in. As long as we're all civil and don't go and screw up the whole thing that monetization. I mean, I'm not worried about the monetization so much, but just keep things fairly clean. I do cuss every once in a while, but not very often. But we've got restrictions. Basically, Kansas City around here, the mayor for Kansas City has been the one who who's kind of been leading the charge for the whole area here. And then all of a sudden everybody says, screw that guy. He's way too, strict right now. We're going to do this, this, and this. But the restrictions are basically no more than 10 people or 10% of the occupancy. So if you have 100 people that can be in your business, 10 is the max you can have. It's either 10 people you can have in your business or 10% of your occupancy, whichever is more. So they're trying to give businesses, the benefit of the doubt. So like your typical haircut places and stuff can open up. But the thing is, in Kansas City, they said the same thing, but that's not going to happen until, depending on how you read the city website, it says that anything that's not open to the public can open up on the 6th. And then they said anything that's open to the public on the 6th can open up with the 10-10-10 rule, meaning 10 people or 10% of your occupancy, and like 10 minutes max or something. I don't know. It gets really crazy. Masia, how you doing? How you doing? I'll put this out there. I don't know if you want to or not. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me get the right link. I'm throwing out the link. I forgot I copied that. Guys, sorry. My bad. My brain's fried. It's been fried. Right there's the StreamYard link. If you guys want to jump in, right there it is. I'm sorry, Jens. I put that in there and it was the wrong thing. Yeah, they said the 16th people who are open to the public can open up. But then if you read a little further down, it says, no, you can open, in limited amounts, you can open up to the public on the 6th. So it's really convoluted, and everybody now, instead of being on the same page across the counties and across the cities, have decided to just go stupid with this. And now everybody's going to be confused. I work at a casino here, and I have no doubts in my mind that we will have 30 to 40 people drive up here on the 4th trying to get in, saying, well, everything's open. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Masia. It can be. I mean, I'm in a fairly large metropolitan area. I mean, if you don't know much about Kansas City, I know when I say this, seriously, well, that's not a large metropolitan city. We have a little over area. We're the largest city in Missouri, Kansas. We're basically the city for Kansas. Even though Kansas City, Missouri is bigger than Kansas City, Kansas. But large metropolitan areas, I think if you just, and I don't mean this to insult anybody, as long as you're smart about what you do. I leave work, I go home. If I have to go to the store, I go to the store, I get what I need, I get out. I'm not like hanging around places. So I'm a big people person. I love being around people. I love having a good time. I like going out, and I miss it. I'm not looking for a problem. So, I've been very careful, keep everything, my kids stay at home. They're not going any place, which is driving them bonkers. My oldest son was like, yeah, I'm ready for this all to be over with. He said, I miss seeing my friends. And I'm like, oh my God, the unsocial teenager who's graduating is now wanting to see people. But I mean, food items and certain things, yeah, here they've been touch and go. I don't know. I think it's a thing that, as a group of people, as a group of people that Americans are, we get a little too grabby at times with food or different things like toilet paper, paper towels, whatever. We get grabby as soon as something gets said. So like, the first time you get the big snowstorm that's supposed to come in for like, I don't know, let's say here where I'm at, when they talk about a possibility of 4 inches or so, that starts making people run for the hills and run for the stores and eggs, milk, bread. And it's like, okay, people, do you not have it? If you don't have it, okay, fine. But why is it only when you hear there's this man coming? Excuse me, my radio is going off. So as you heard, maybe there's plenty of pizza for people. So if you guys are close to the Kansas City area, come on over to where I'm at and you can have pizza. I guess. I don't know. That's what they're saying. Yes, smart. Some people, you should seen the lines on the shelter and play. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I was reading up on this and talking to some friends who work in supply chain businesses like grocers. We have AWG here in Kansas City, or actually that's over in Kansas, but it's the metropolitan area. AWG is Associated Wholesale Grocers, so they do a lot of stuff across the country, and they're headquartered here. And I asked my friend who worked for them, I was like, so what's the deal with toilet paper, paper towels, all this stuff? Because that is done mostly here in the United States. And he just said they weren't ready for this. They didn't think, nobody thought this was going to happen. So I asked a friend of mine who's also works in the government about the PPE and stuff. And they said, yeah, a lot of people did know back in February. And yeah, because of that very reason, Messia, people do research. So if you do research, you can catch up on this stuff a lot more. But the PPE and a lot of that stuff also comes down to is that they have people in things like FEMA where their job is to say, okay, well, if we had something bad happen and we need a PPE, how much do we need? So somebody probably muffed on their job and messed up and just didn't look at the supply chain properly and probably didn't have things set up to where as soon as it came on, everybody kind of reacted really, really quick. Now, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Jens, how you doing?
Yeah. All right. Chris,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. But whenever somebody in like FEMA or something happens to have the job of making sure supplies are ready for something like this, when the United States hasn't really dealt with this in 100 plus years since the Spanish flu, there's going to be the growing pains. I think now that it's happened, coming up the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we're going to be ready for something like this again. I think all of this, shelter in place, all the stuff that we're all done with this, you got to stay at home. You can't do this. You got to stay this far away from this person, this and this. I think all of that is actually going to make it so the next time something starts, we're going to take it more seriously and we might not have to do as much of this stuff. So Jens, how you doing?
Yeah. I took a bit of time. I was like looking for my earphones and that. So
no, I didn't. I know that.
Yeah. I was like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to ask, is that Big Ben on your avatar there?
Oh no, it's a church that is got like a clock on it. It's
I was trying to look closer, but yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Big Ben though. A
little bit. I'm sure everybody would probably tell me you're absolutely crazy to think that that's Big Ben, but I was just trying to look closer, and I'm like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. The different. Is I think like Big Ben's got a bit of a steeple sort of like on the roof where that's so. But yeah, it's like a mini Big Ben because like the bells ring and that. It's one of them that they have bell ringers in the church, and sometimes they'll ring the bells and that. Yeah, so it is sort of like our version of Big Ben, but like a church.
Yeah. Hey, Generation, how you doing? I'm putting out the StreamYard link. If you want to jump in, feel free to jump in. So Messiah D here says, no one expected this commercial-wise. It's not like this virus has a cure. It's put a huge strain on. I don't see the continue, but so viruses don't have cures. We just get vaccines and stuff like that. And
Is that Harborough Caller Quinn thing? That's like I think it's for Malaysia or something, or like some. But it works all right though, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that they're trying their hardest and fastest to get it like a vaccine out there. I think, with all the research, everybody's on it now. I mean, sometimes it's parts of the world that have a problem. Ebola is one of the best examples. It shows up in different places, but it's not as widespread as something like this. And I mean, SARS, that started, and that almost became something like this. And a lot of what we're finding out, I think the biggest problem, and of course YouTube, I'm not going to talk too much about the particulars about it because I don't know everything. I'm not telling anybody that I have the answers. But one of the things is testing. Without the true testing, we really don't know the numbers, because here's the thing. We know who has it, and we know how many people have died from it. We don't know who doesn't have it or who's asymptomatic. There's a lot of that stuff going on.
Well, there have been a few people that has been tested, and they found that they've had it in that, but the like human vaccine that your body produces as like cured it. I'm forgetting the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the immune system has like cured it.
Yeah. That, and again, that's kind of the problem is that there's a lot of unanswered questions. And I know some countries are doing better than like the United States. We're just now getting to the point where people without symptoms are being told, hey, if you want to be tested, you can be tested, which, with being that we're coming up with opening up here soon, or starting to open up. We're not just opening the doors and saying everybody can go back to doing what they're doing, but we're starting to open it up. But we still don't know a lot of stuff, and that can be problematic in itself.
Well, looking at the death figures, though, it only affects people who are like got medical problems or are like really old, so they will have probably medical problems, But when they're so old, well, you expect it, because
a lot of it is that.
Yeah, between kids and to the age of like 60 to 70, like it starts a bit when you get into your 40s, because like there's a lot of people when they get into the 40s, if they haven't took care of themselves or they've had like medical problems in the past, it's all like, so like there haven't been many cases of people under the age of 40 dying from this.
Yeah, it's small numbers. I mean, so like the numbers currently, and again, this could have changed. I don't know when these were released, but the current numbers here in the United States are 1.12 million. 137 have recovered, and 65,000 have died. And I mean, if you do the percentages, I haven't done them recently, but
Yeah, but then figures are massaged a bit, because there's a lot of old folk and other people that have died, you know, and you remember before this virus and that, people was dying like quite young and that, and out of the blue, it'd be like, oh, so it just drop like marathon runners. They was the like funniest because they trained all their lives to do a marathon, and it kills them. It's like, yeah, and so people will just die for like medical, and what it is they get $4,000 for a normal death, but $40,000 for a COVID death.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of hospitals that, if they really did the research, it'd be like, well, they haven't died of COVID. They've just had COVID when they've died, but they've just, well, COVID. It's so Bill Gates can get everyone marked by the beast. Because like I saw him today. Oh, I tell you that soulless. I nearly went off into a rant, but I remembered like calm down for your channel. But yeah, it was about, oh well, everyone's gonna have to stay in until we get a cure. And it's like, well, we don't need a cure because I'm not dying, and even if I am dying, I'm not having you tell me what I can do.
Yeah. First off,
life is like a hurricane in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a Duckburg.
might saw the history.
Or rewrite history, DuckTales. Ooh, that would have been like 22 seconds, and I've heard from certain sources that 15, you may be okay. Oh, are you talking about my face's nakedness? Yes, my face is naked.
That's craziness.
It's okay. I have the updated avatar, so it makes sense. It's actually an old avatar because I've shaved before in my life. But hey guys, what's going on?
Okay, real quick, Messia, $2 super chat. Thank you, Messia. I appreciate that very, very much. Yeah, so we're loosely talking about the virus, the fluffy bunny disease, because I don't want to go into too many particulars because YouTube gets kind of crazy about that right now.
The thing is, as long as you're not contradicting the WHO, my apologies for mansplaining to you, gentlemen, but I literally covered, I think at one point, every single one of the coronavirus task force briefings. Oh God, I feel like it killed my soul to do it. Because I'm sitting there at least covering the initial remarks, going through all this random drama, this, that, going back on other things, kind of like, I kind of agree with what Chris was saying there. It's like, this is a big mess. Nobody really saw this coming. Nobody was really prepared for this. We got hit hard. A lot of folks are doing the best that they can to try to figure it out. Have there been mistakes made? Yes. The big things come to logistics. And here's the big thing is, even if you, like, I'll take the space race, for instance. I'm like, well, once the Soviets tossed Sputnik in it, that lit a fire under our ass. And one of my conservative buddies was like, yeah, you could say that. We also spent, like, more money than God. It's like, he has a point in this. We literally signed a $6.2 trillion bill. The president was very happy about that. I'm like, oh, I thought the president was supposed to be a Republican. These are interesting times. That's all I'm saying right now. But it's like, dude, if you divide $6.2 trillion rather than going this way, that way, you could give every adult American like almost 30 grand. It's like $29,500. Just because like we've never thrown around that much money before. I'm like, wait a second. Rather all this unemployment, this is a fucking national emergency. We're spending $6.2 trillion. Guess what? You're saying we couldn't figure this out. Oh, companies need money because things are going to be stationary. Well, companies can issue stock. What would be the outcome of that? Oh my God, you'd have employee company ownership. How dare we do that?
I just want to say, I got one of the new Browns jerseys, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Dude, that's sweet.
My Trump Bucks, they went back to tradition. Yes.
Well, that's the thing. No, that's what keeps the economy going and stuff, man. It's like I realize, dude. I like to buy stuff and things and stuff like that. That usually requires bucks of
Well,
some
that
sort.
was the only thing I splurged on. I was very happy about that, and the rest has been necessities for myself and my mom. But they came out today here in Ohio and said, big mixed signaling. So on one hand, the governor's like, we're going to go ahead and reopen the state, right? But on a limited basis. Oh, by the way, we're extending the stay-at-home order for another month. So what exactly are you doing here? I mean, a lot of people are ticked off about that.
Wait. So they're opening up the state while simultaneously asking people to stay at home.
Yeah, it makes zero sense, Memes. I'm telling you, dude. I was sitting there listening to the governor's press conference a little while ago, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And he had the doctor lady here in Ohio that's advising him, Dr. Amy Acton, I believe is her name, and she was going on like, I advise that he extend the order because it's just not safe enough yet. Our numbers are seeing spikes, and it's like, well, you conveniently see spikes a day before the state is scheduled to be reopened.
This is one of the big issues. Go on.
I was saying earlier that our area was on board with all of this. When we were shutting things down, they were all pretty much following each other. And then as soon as they started talking about opening back up, everybody's got their own plan. Well, for instance, I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, Kansas City, Missouri goes in and out of about 40 different cities in this whole area. Right. So we have a place called Blue Springs. Well, Kansas City surrounds Blue Springs, but Blue Springs has a different opening plan than Kansas City has. So you got a guy that has a business across the street from somebody in Kansas City. Well, that guy's not going to have different rules than this guy over here. And it's like, in order to do this, you got to have communication with everybody around you. If you're not on the same plan, if you're not going to do it the same way, you got to make that very clear. In this area right here, they're not being clear about anything. It's clear as mud.
Yes. Well, if there's one thing you can count on, it's politicians will never coordinate. I mean, getting state and local to coordinate is like herding cats.
Why is that the case, if that's the case?
I don't know, man.
Have we been incentivized people not to work together?
I think so.
With the Democrats, though, anything Trump says, they're going straight against.
Here's the thing. Donald Trump is, in my opinion, our first internet troll president. And I think social media has kind of helped lead us here. People have always had their differences, which now with the political climate exacerbated by social media, where we are. And it's like, I feel there have been a number of missed opportunities, and I do believe it starts at the top. Here's the thing: if the president had to come out and just said a whole bunch of other things, rather because he'll do well for a little while, like he'll have an uplifting message, and then he just have to take a cheap shot. And it's like, dude, I realize that's your character. I realize that's Donald Trump, but you're the president of the United States, man. Come on, please.
Yeah,
I voted for you. Don't make me. Why did I vote for the president? Just like Van Jones said, it was the biggest double middle finger to the establishment of all time. I also voted in Massachusetts, which I realized we were going to go for Secretary Clinton anyway. But regardless of that, that's the thing, man. I'm not a big thing of hating on the player. I'm more of hating on the game. So if we don't like the game, well, we have the ability to change the game. This is one of the big things. It's showing that different places. I hear folks saying, "Oh, the Democrat states, look how bad it is." Okay, if you actually look at the charts of infection rates and unfortunately folks that have passed, a lot of that seems to be direct correlation to population density. Where's the hardest hit plate? New York. Where specifically? New York City. The island. It's an island. It's a limited area. You're talking about areas with up to 28,000 people per square mile. Here's the thing. I would assume that if it's a different state and different locality, that the recommended restrictions or guidance would be different if there's 28,000 people per square mile versus 2.
Yeah, you take my state, for example. I think we've got about 11 million people roughly in the state of Ohio. So we've got, I think, across the state, 1,000 deaths. I mean,
How early did you lock down?
Oh God!
Was it before New York? Because I know we were about a week before.
Yeah, we've it's about I want to say it's about the same time, memes. It's was about a week before, because we've been in lockdown about 6 weeks. But the thing is I just I don't get why they're treating it like disaster when their own numbers are saying they had ridiculous projections at the beginning for our state. They said there could be up to 100,000 fatalities, blah blah blah, and it's like,
I think I remember that number being released. It seemed like a scary number, but a lot of folks didn't talk about this.
Yeah. We had like loads of hospitals built in the UK, and one of them never even got opened, and they're all empty. There's loads of these TikTok videos of them dancing around, and people are getting, people are getting a bit frustrated.
They seem bored, and it seems very ironic.
Yeah,
and the thing is with this like shutdown and that, they're not letting anyone go to have any of the surgeries. So there's people who've got like cancer or whatever, like troubles and that, heart surgeries or whatever, seeing these like messing around doing TikTok videos, and you can tell it's like empty and that, because
all you have to do is watch one of those videos and just pay attention to the background as you see these people moving around, and it's like it's dead in there.
Yeah, and they're loving it because they're getting paid for just like doing nothing, or if they are doing something, it's TikTok videos.
See, again, I think the biggest problem here is everybody's going off of skewed numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, they're telling you that right now the death or the mortality rate, I guess I should say, the mortality rate of this is right under 6%. And of course, that freaks a lot of people out when you talk about something like the flu is typically between 3 and 5%, give or take the year. And the problem people don't understand is they give you that number about 6 months after that flu season's over. They're giving this to you updated right now. Until everybody's recovered, we really won't know what that death or mortality rate is.
Or know the actual number of infections, too, because this is a big confusing thing with the numbers. Just to push back a little bit, Chris, because I had done a video on this before, and my numbers could be off, but the flu standard mortality rate is about 0.1%. So that's what it normally is. Some folks are saying this is now potentially 0.2%, so it might be twice as deadly there. I've heard different percentages, but the big thing is so many people may have been asymptomatic, because I ended up getting something that I initially thought was flu B. One of my other roommates had got it as well, but then upon speaking with them again, I guess they thought it was flu B because it appeared to be some form of a respiratory illness, and we didn't have COVID testing. They weren't testing for that. That's the thing. That didn't seem to be something that was available or something that they were looking for at the time. So if you might have millions and millions of more people, that would lower it. But this is based upon what we know of number of folks that have been infected and that have actually ended up losing their lives here. But going up just let me finish the point just on hospital capacity, because I think this is important for people. Just because, yes, you see a lot of these videos, these TikTok videos, you see like nurses and stuff dancing around and stuff. It's like, well, aren't you supposed to be dealing with this? I'll give you a case in point. Italy. They ended up having a lot of travel from, I believe, the greater Wuhan province, where a lot of this originated back early on. They didn't shut down for a while. And then they ended up having hospitals over capacity. Yes, this did hit typically the older population, because if you happen to be older and you happen to get a bad flu, that could often be a death sentence in and of itself. There were instances of hospitals being over capacity. Now, let's take the instance, had we not socially distanced, if we had not basically locked the entire country more or less freaking down, because that's what we're doing. This is authoritarian as hell here, but the reason why is this is essentially a declaration of a national emergency. So basically certain wartime powers kind of come into play, the Defense Production Act, to be able to essentially compel private businesses to build what we want and everything like that. This is being used. Had we not socially distanced, and basically rather than people getting sick over a period of time, if everybody got sick over the same 2 to 3 week period, even at 0.2%, so that would be 0.002% of 11 million people, that's 22,000 people that could have potentially died in Ohio. If this was actually like the 3.5% that some people are saying, so we go 11 million people in Ohio times 0.035, that would have been an estimate dead in Ohio. So this is the reason why, to give some context, why we did potentially the things that we did. Now, it's sad. It sounds like 1,000 folks have lost their lives, but this is just what I'm saying. Just because there were a lot of mistakes. People didn't know supplies were here or there. That sounds like a major communication issue.
But here's my thing, Meeves. It's just like when you're basing numbers just off of modeling alone, and you're disseminating this information to the people. I mean, you're basically stirring up a lot of fear.
The model. This is something that I feel needed to be stressed, is that no model is perfect unless you literally find a unified theory for like the universe or something. So.
Well, the way they were presenting the original numbers in the press conference, the estimates like 100,000 deaths and whatnot, initially before they knew anything, it was kind of irresponsible in my mind to do that, because you're going to scare people to death right off the jump.
It seemed like an outlier, but it seemed within the realm of possibility there. But I hear what you're saying, dude. You scared people.
Yeah,
and you can say that. You can say it scared people. But here's the thing. I think that was more of a way of telling people, listen, this is how serious this could be if we don't get you to listen, and please do what we ask. Because let's go on a different route here. Let's say they don't say that number. They don't give us the big possibility numbers that make us go, oh my God, this is crazy. And they don't stress the stay at home or whatnot. Americans are pretty easy to lull into, a false sense of security. So if you give it to them in a worst case scenario and say, you've got to help us by doing what we ask, here's the thing. If they didn't do that, then we go into the ideas of possible martial law and stuff, because by the time it got so bad, then they'd have to lock down the country. That means they'd have to bring in martial law, and nobody wants that. And I'm not a big Trump supporter. I won't say I applaud that a guy that I would say might have jumped to that immediately hadn't and hasn't. They have tried to go the least the path of least resistance in this. They're trying to be American still. You have the freedom to do stuff, but we're asking you to do this.
All right, but I want to make a good point, Chris, because the president's handled it as admirably, I think, as you can. But the problem is in doing so, when he kicked all the power to the governors and trickling on down from there, the mayors of the smaller, cities and townships, all of a sudden, you've got these people in the local areas that are beholden to whatever the mayors or governors want to do. And there's some of them that are very, that range from, ultra conservative to ultra liberal, to ultra. And some of them are very authoritarian. And I mean, I've seen the pictures on Twitter, dude. People can't even go to a park. They've got basketball hoops. You've got rims, with wooden board planks across them, so people can't.
They've taken the rims down some places.
Yeah, I mean, are you serious? Somebody can't go to a park by themselves and shoot around?
Yes. All about control, 1984.
It's
like, but
yeah.
That in Italy, right? Like, say it was that serious and the hospitals were that full and packed, then yeah, I could understand it being a lockdown. But when the hospitals are empty, there's no point in having a lockdown until they get half full. Even if they get half full, you still could go out and that. You just have to do the social distancing. But I think it should just go back to normal, like it was. We don't need protecting, because you've either rather got it and your immune system will find a antibody body for it. Yeah.
The only issue is the studies aren't completely clear, because now there's some speculation you might be able to get it a second time. If that's the case, dude, I don't even know. But then again, I haven't seen any definitive studies on that. Again, we're showing antibodies, so like you said, man, if you're getting antibodies, you're at least, it hopefully won't kill you. If anything, it would just maybe not be that bad. But my big thing is, it's so tough, man. Did you need to necessarily shut everything down that we did, especially in some less dense areas? Probably not. That's the thing.
Well, here's my biggest concern. Sorry, Jens, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my biggest concern here is that I'm worried about the amount of liberty that's given up. It's great that the federal government looks good in this, but they handed all the power to state and local, and now
all power is not residing in the federal government, or resides with the states and local municipalities.
Right, but I mean they've gotten temporarily a really huge level of power right now, and my concern is how much liberty as citizens that we're giving up.
Oh yeah, well this is like the thin edge of the wedge, in it. It's like, oh, let's see, yeah, because if you see it in controlling authoritative state, they'd know if they just started sending out the drones now, like in China, where they giving them the orders to go back. And I don't think they're armed, these droids, but if they sent out armed droids, people would get shocked then, and there would be probably some. So they're going to restrict it and then slowly tighten it as people get used to, oh yeah, it's lockdown month or whatever, and then lockdown year or whatever, and then lockdown is just seen as norm. That's what if you believe in an authoritarian state. Tactics.
I'm just hoping that people don't take this as the norm and don't get used to this, because the minute you get used to giving up your civil liberties is when you just sit there and lay down and say, here, take my freedom altogether.
Well, here's the thing. How do we get to a point like this? Why we're, if this was such an atrocious thing, why were folks very accepting to it? And I think a lot of it comes down to incentives here. Okay, what was the incentive for a lot of folks? Dude, we got 22 million people that freaking lost their jobs and all of a sudden filed for unemployment. That's freaking ridiculous, man. But but if you look at what actually happened, there are some, and again, not all instances, but there are certain instances where people, by getting laid off and filing for unemployment with that additional weekly bonus and stuff, there are some people that are getting paid to basically sit at home and basically chill, stay away from other people, and there are essential personnel working that are getting paid less than
Chris
being
had
on
a
unemployment.
crazy look on his face.
That seems like a poor incentive structure to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You know, and memes. Let me just say one thing to you, my friend. I have a crush on your mind, sir. You have a beautiful mind.
Oh, that's such a sexy comment. Thank you. And now I'm going to ruin it. Smoking is bad.
Oh, dude, trust me. I'm smoking right now too, because ironically enough, there was a study right now that apparently smokers are getting the coronavirus less than
This is one of the most effed up things, but there is a thought process or let's say a conspiracy hypothesis or a conspiracy hype.
So
because
smoke them if you got them, boys and girls.
Okay, normally it's like if you're a smoker, if you get respiratory things, like when you get sick, like I didn't always used to smoke, and then I started working as a supervisor / manager for a large company, and everyone else smoked, so I wanted to be social, and I got tired of bumming cigarettes, so I bought a pack, and then they had me. These things happen. I quit for a little while too, but I need to quit. I'm saying that, but irregardless, yeah, normally you get sick. It sucks because your lungs, you're putting smoke in your lungs. That's just inherently wrong with whatever it is, not minding to say all the different chemicals and shit in this. But at the same time, you are essentially covering the lining of your lungs with soot. Is it possible that dirty smoke is protecting our lungs against a virus?
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Not the craziest thing I've ever heard, though.
Possibly.
It's like, yeah, because like there's a lot of tissue scarring, isn't there, when you smoke, and so your lungs will get used to it. So if this virus that does supposed to like lung scarring and that, it'll be like, oh.
Well, this is the thing. The virus needs to get in. The virus needs to penetrate the cell in order to f up the cell and then create more of itself. So if there's any type of barrier, no matter what it is, that likely would.
Nicotine. Yeah. So,
I mean, I'm not saying that smoking is good. It'd probably be just as good to.
Well.
No,
COVID may kill me. Smoking will kill me.
Yeah.
When I smoked, when I used to, my doctor actually told me one time, he says, now I'm not telling you, but I will say that if you end up getting, and this is even more stupid, I had asthma. I was allergic to smoke, but I smoked. Mm-hmm. He told me, I will tell you this, if you end up having heartburn, light one up, and it'll kind of help that. And it did.
Yeah, it'll temper it.
And he also told me if I ever had an asthma attack, he said, at least it'll regulate your breathing, because the way your mind and your body is used to smoking, the breathing that it's used to doing will actually help you control your breathing.
So since you had such trouble breathing while a smoker, your body and mind adapted to living with that. So once you stopped smoking, it was useful. Yeah. It was helpful. It basically helped prepare you for an asthma attack.
Yeah, but there was some crazy stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's so many unknowns with this right now.
Well, I'll say the smoking though. There's statistics that smokers heal quicker than non-smokers, and it's probably not to do with the body. It's just that smokers sign themselves out earlier, to get sick.
Well, that's the thing. You put that strain on your body, so your body's had to fight that strain. So if you were to take it away, I mean, again, smoking will kill you. These are ways your body is fighting, like, the death process. And in some ways like this, I'm actually looking up what Tommy just said in the chat there, something about tar encapsulating viruses or something. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing any scientific studies. Go on.
Yeah, I'll do the research. I'll do some research in it. if they want me medical.
But yeah, you know, it's just funny because I found that ironic. They were talking about that on the radio the other day. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, that's it's kind of ironic during this thing. But you know, I figure, hey, look, I'll quit smoking when my stress quits. Exactly. It's about never.
Well, I'm not going to quit smoking, and I'm losing my teeth over it because I'm like 44, nearly 45, and I started smoking when I was like 17, sort of thing. So I've been smoking nearly 30 years, like 28 years.
They say, because there were studies that came out about 10 years ago, and basically they say it's about 40 pack years and stuff. Like if you can quit before 40 pack years, the new study came that's like, oh, your body can actually start to heal itself. And like, because before for years you figure it's like, oh, well, I've been smoking, so I'm already effed up, so it's not worth it for me to quit smoking. But if all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, your body can actually heal. Because once 30 or 40 years, and that's like a pack a day per year.
I'll put the camera on, but like a bit of a shock because I've got me earphones real small, so like I'm real close to the camera, and that like
there's people that quit at 50 that actually there's people.
I'm not a dentist. I don't know what to look for.
It'll come pretty clear.
Oh, that's why they have light.
The memes of dentistry.
dude, you could get like a gold tooth or something. I think that would look dope.
Yeah. Just
but you can get the porcelain. Dude, I got part porcelain here, dude.
Just get one of them grills, bro.
Yeah. Well, like, I will. It could cost a bit of money then, though.
Yeah. It's because it's an orthodontist. They're like a specialist. Yeah.
Yeah, but like but I was asking, like, because you have to get them drilled, like a screw drilled into your gum.
Yeah, you can get it dental implants. That's how it works. You get it.
No, they can usually Novocaine you up as long as, or give you some sort of numbing agent. I remember I got bashed or like elbowed or headbutted or something at like a corn show at Ozfest one year. Right underneath my eye was bleeding. They pulled me out of the pit. I had to go to the little thing. They put some petroleum jelly and stuff on there, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you should probably get some stitches and stuff." I'm like, "No, Ozzy hasn't gone on yet."
Exactly. That's what I was.
Yeah.
I think it was someone else.
But you know the thing is, gents. You know, oh God, when I was younger, I got into a fairly bad car accident. It was like when I was 19 or 20, and you know, I had a lot taken off my teeth then because you know I chipped a ton of them.
Oh, because you bite down. Yeah, no, that's how I.
And they were already, you know, and they were already cracked and stuff. And then smoking is just taking it.
Doesn't help.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get implants probably when I can.
Dude, what if we could grow our own teeth?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, but seriously, I've seen them grow an ear on a rat. They can grow an ear on a rat. You're telling me like we can't like take some of our DNA and like with calcium and 3D, because 3D printing is how like they did like the thing for me, because I had chipped like one of like my front teeth over here. It fell out at one point, but it was just a bad glue bond and stuff like that. So he literally goes in 3D print. Dude, it was like 15 minutes for him to like print it out.
Yeah. Well, like our problem is the gums. I've got. I think it's through smoking because I do a lot of smoking and I brush my teeth and that. But like,
did you get some gingivitis or something like that?
Gingivitis.
I think they got treatments and stuff though.
No, that's like bad breath. No, this is like gums where my teeth are like falling out, you know, and so the gums and I like when I brush my teeth, I used to brush them too hard, and so like I rub the gums away. The
enamel and stuff. Oh, okay.
No, the gums themselves, and so the teeth are pretty good, sort of thing. But the gums are like not that they're like thinking it apart and wearing away. So like,
so it sounds like
they're
it's
not
kind of
holding-
maybe developing gum disease or something. Again, I'm not a dentist or
some-
orthodontist.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's some gum disease that I got through like smoking and that. And so
If you were to quit smoking, would it start to help you?
yeah, but I'm like, nah. That's why I said, oh yeah, I'm losing my teeth, but I'm not going to stop smoking.
Yeah, like I think to a degree it helps, but the treatment, because there was a dentist that I talked to about the treatments that were available, because I've got gum problems too, and they said there's a procedure they could do, like a deep cleaning that involves like also like antibiotic injections made in your gums that can help. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, like if I had the money, and was a private dentist, I reckon they'd be like, oh yeah, we could sort this out, sort of thing. But it's the NHS and
yeah. The only problem, like here in the States, Jens, with dentistry, the prices for dentistry are so ridiculously overinflated. Because like something like if Chris or I or memes, if we have to go to the dentist, it's ridiculously exorbitant. And most of us have dental insurance, but it's insurance.
Well, it's the way the insurance is kind of structured, right? Because dental insurance, it's usually one of the wicked cheapest things compared to like health insurance, at least based upon my experience. But the thing is, when you do need to have something done, you got to pay so much. Yeah, the insurance will cover some of it, but it's like a dental procedure, like that's a lot of money out. Whereas if all of a sudden you're in like a bad car accident or something, it's like, okay, you're going to have major medical insurance, which is usually like $500,000. You can do a lot with $500,000. If they're like, all right, you got dental, but your copay is like $2,000. It's like, oh, that's more than like $350 a week out of my paycheck.
Yeah, you see, dental insurance it's more like a discount plan. You pay, you get 2 cleanings, 2 checks a year, something like that. Most of them are that way. And then if you have a procedure, it just knocks some off of that. And the funny thing is like I tell people, and this is the same way at any hospital in the United States and any insurance you have, you could go to that hospital that's a network and go to the other side of your city to another hospital and network and spend $400 less for the same procedure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's messed up because in America we don't have a standardized pricing for anything. I break my leg, they take me to the closest. If I break my leg really severely,
it's kind of like going to a local pizza shop. It's like, all right, a large cheese pizza is $10. You go over to the next state, it's like literally exact same large cheese pizza. It's $20. Yeah, it sucks. You're like, you don't want to do that, but you might spend the $10. If all of a sudden you feel like your head's going to explode because like a part of a tooth fragment is like wedged somewhere in like your upper skull, you're like, oh my God, get this done. It's like, oh yeah, it's $400 more. It's $1,200 more. What's the difference? Well, it depends on a number of things. What are those things? Well, they seem to be very complicated.
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff just gets really complicated. And Jens, let me say real quick to you, Jens, I love your posters behind you. Terminator, Boys, excellent.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's beautiful.
Yeah. You see me dirty floor a bit, but yeah, it's like they make it, give me them, and like say this and all. I did this with myself. You're into the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. Is that on Disney Plus?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, I think I need to get my 1 month of Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's about the only reason why.
I've waited because now I heard the ending of the Clone Wars. The last arc is pretty good, so now I'll just binge it all.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I normally binge. I didn't see any. The only TV series I've watched recently with religious ability, because I was doing the Mandalorian Roundtable, I had to watch it every week to stay on top of what we were talking about. And so that was the last one I've actually religiously watched week to week.
Yeah.
So
see, I always liked the Clone Wars. I started to watch some of like the little sneak previews and stuff. So I watched that part where one of the troopers just fires the thing off, and he's just like straps it to his belt. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, we're following them. I thought it was funny. I heard that basically you're not really doing anything with the real story. It's basically just side fodder stuff. But like I'm okay with that because I love the Clone Wars, especially what was it? Before the last couple of seasons. I think Disney kind of bought them out. They kind of took in a bit of a different direction. But like the Maul arc and everything, dude, like where they went to Mandalore and shit, dude, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like the Clone Wars because it's like the last thing that Lucas really came up with. Lucas was heavily involved in that, so I still think there's a lot of Lucas in that.
They filled in a lot of like different plot holes. Well, not even really plot holes, but they clarified different things, which I appreciated.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Rebels yet, but I hear two different sides of that. I hear horrible, I hear good.
I watched the first couple episodes. It got really boring, and I didn't keep watching. Although the episode where they were teaching people, the Padawans, how to make their own lightsaber, that was badass with the kyber crystals and stuff. That was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I've thought about watching that, but
I need to still finish it because I heard it kind of gets good a little bit towards the end. So
what I heard, but yeah,
I need to get you guys to binge Battlestar Galactica, man, so you guys can come on my podcast on Thursday and bullshit.
Like the original?
No, the 2000s.
Okay, that's what I meant. That's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if you meant the new one. Because you were talking about that the other day, and you said that it actually is pretty good at keeping with what the original one was about.
It is, and it goes into so many fascinating things, and you know, like you take somebody like Memes, for instance, if he would watch that, like a fan with that kind of analytical mind, I mean, it gives you all kind of possibilities and information to think over. It's pretty awesome. I enjoyed it, you know, and the good thing about that show was, you know, it came out in that time in the 2000s. It was post 9/11, but stuff wasn't woke yet. So it was still the good old formula of, you know, we can explore a social issue, but let the audience decide for themselves. And that's what I enjoyed about that show, because it did get into some deep social issues with the character development and with some of the story elements. So, I mean, I thought it was outstanding. All the seasons were outstanding, except I think the latter half of season 4, it got a little, not woke style, but just a little bit of head scratching here and there in the story. But overall, it's an outstanding series. Outstanding.
Well, that's the thing. You run anything long enough, you're gonna go through and not have some great episodes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I was a big X-Files fan. And the last 2 or 3 seasons, there were hits and misses. I mean, it just, you know, it doesn't matter if you're an honest fan. If you're a true fan, you're willing to take shots at your own fan, like what you're a fan of, because you'll see when it goes wrong, or when you don't agree with it, or when it doesn't follow the path that you want it to. You know.
No, there's no show. There's no show that's going to have like 100% across the board A+ episodes. It's just not.
You can't please everybody. That's the thing. But people should be able to speak truthfully, be able to share their opinion and stuff, and people not hurling mass amounts of hate towards each other would also be nice. But these things happen. But I got to run. Hey, thank you so much for having me on. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you all.
Yeah.
But hey, We'll see what happens. I think we can make this through this.
Yeah.
Peace out. Be safe. And long live the elbow bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with that said, we're at about an hour and 30 minutes here, and I got to get ready to wrap things up here at work. Jens, Drew, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Jens, if you're on Twitter, look me up on Twitter. If you're not following me, follow me. I'll follow you back, and we can talk some more. We'll have you on another time, too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, man. Like, Chris Knight, is it your Twitter handle?
Here, I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, man, yeah.
If I can get there.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll put it down here. Yeah, give me just a second here.
Now, while these guys connect, I want to make an announcement and say, hey, Fandom Collective, if you're watching, all I can say is, get me and Chris Knight fandom cards, all right? Is that too much to ask? I mean, I understand I'm a simple journalist and all, but man, I'm out there grinding. Chris Knight is always grinding. He is doing streams like mad. Show the man some love.
I've been trolling everybody about that just for the hell of it. I've been doing that, so it's right there in the chat, Jens.
Yeah, Chris Knight 5150. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy
Chris. Crazy Chris. That's what I used to be called all the time. Crazy Chris. So 5150 suits me just fine.
Yeah.
But guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you to all you guys in the chat. Messia, Dandelion Fluff, Tommy. I know we had Scott here earlier. Memes was in there earlier.
Yep.
Memes came on.
Big shout out to Tommy.
Yeah,
Generation
absolutely.
Productions. Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you all being in the chat. Everybody's link that was on this, they did stuff with me this week. The streams I've been on, the channels I've been on, anybody I streamed with, all that stuff's down in the description below, along with Tommy's channel and other people, because anybody I work with, anybody I do stuff with, I have everybody that helps out the channel here, like the mods and stuff like that. I have all their information down below because I want you guys to know who these people are. These people are great people. Drew, he comes on all the time too. I'll make sure I update this and put all your guys' information in here because, whenever I throw people the link, I don't know who's coming in. So I'll make sure you guys next out there.
I was going to say, Chris, next week we got the Rumble coming up too. So be on for that one.
Yeah, we had to cancel the weekly Rumble this week. Next week we have it. We'll be putting out the tweets and stuff on that here coming up soon. But Drew's going to be on that. Scott from Sporking News Podcast is going to be on. Thomas Gilkman, he's going to be on there. And Ords Bored is going to be on there too. So you guys can check that out. That's going to be next Thursday. I don't know yet about the Chaos Central YouTube shows. I don't know if we're going to do that or not because Shaun does not have a microphone right now, and Danny had some family things come up, so I'm not sure exactly what we're doing with that, guys. But I do appreciate all of you. Jens, when you do get a hold of me finally, I'll talk to you about the weekly Rumble. You might like that.
Yeah.
Neat little discussion stream. So, guys, again, thank you very much, everybody who's watching. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers for having us on, Chris.
Take care of yourself, mate.
All right, man.
Yeah, you too, Drew.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Everybody say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to both channels, and make sure to check out our friends in the Fandom Minutes. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and BitChute, and you can also send us an email at Shaun@ShaunStackhouseReacts.com and chrisknight@TheRealReview3000.com. Be sure to swing by our Teespring store to pick up some awesome merchandise.